Welcome. Thanks for talking to me for about an hour or so today. We got Meaghan Sansor. I hope I said that right.
It's Czachor.
Czachor. I was close, sort of. But thanks for talking to me for a little bit. This is the EricSwannRacing.com podcast. I believe it's number 85. So getting up there in the numbers. But I was looking to talk to new people.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so we met through motorcycle racing. I think you were at Daytona a couple weeks ago with was it Arma?
Yeah. Yep.
And you're not a motorcycle racer yourself, but your husband is?
My boyfriend, yeah.
Right, yeah. And so what kind of racing does he do?
He races, I can't even remember. He was vintage heavyweight one year and then vintage superweight. But he races a CB 650.
Yeah, so vintage motorcycles, Arma.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun down in Daytona. It's nice to get out of the cold weather in Michigan. So, being downtown in Florida is pretty nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I'd never been to Daytona before, so it was just an interesting experience all the way around.
Yeah, it's like one of the tracks in the country. I mean, maybe not as far as like overall size or acreage of the facility, but those grandstands are something.
Those are massive, man.
Probably feel like
It's pretty cool, though.
But well over 100,000 people in that stadium.
It's so wild to think about, considering how many people were there for Arma. It's like, goddamn.
And I'll actually be leaving on Friday going to Miami. I'm working Homestead Miami Speedway for CCS.
Oh, that's awesome.
Going down there again and getting out of the snow. We got a couple inches of snow on the ground. Where are you from? Where are you living now?
I'm in Woodstock, Georgia.
Woodstock, Georgia. So you probably don't have a lot of snow.
I can't say that we have any snow now. We had some a few weeks ago, but it was like 2 to 3 inches, so it wasn't the most exciting thing, but my dogs liked it.
See something new.
Yeah, they love snow anyway, so anytime I can get them into it, I will. But, we just don't have that option here very much.
I gotcha, yeah. But you're really into music, is that right?
Yeah, predominantly. That's just my whole thing.
And what kind
band
of
t-shirt, band posters. I listen to so much music. Like, so much music. Predominantly, I guess, punk, ska, metal type music.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of the same tastes on music. I like a lot of stuff, but I just do a Bill Murray and John Harvey concert. Probably people don't know about him too much, but
Nice.
it's like rock, metal. He's got a little bit of electronic in there, but mostly like metalcore type of stuff. Or melodic
Like
metal.
a roller coaster ride stuff. It's fun.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. He's got some funny like intros or instrumentals, but his instrumentation is just off the charts with Bill Murray. It's not the character you're thinking of. It's not.
I know.
But it's just kind of a joke, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
or an homage to that character because he uses Bill Murray's lyrics, or not his lyrics, but his voice sound bites in some of the songs.
That's awesome.
Pretty good. But yeah, he had a live saxophone player on stage just jamming out solos and stuff. It's like, that's unique. You don't normally see that in a rock band.
No, that's really cool.
Kind of how they use trumpets and trombones, a lot of brass instruments, but not too often saxophones.
No, not typically. No, not that's. I mean, maybe in ska band, sure, whatever. If that's any kind of brass you can imagine.
Now, do you play any music, or you just like to play the radio?
I've listened to music. I've done clarinet. I've done drums. I did a little guitar. I did a little bit of violin, but I never really stuck with any of it. It's just my ADHD, man. I am into everything.
Yeah.
If I can learn a little bit, I'm going to learn a little bit of it. I might not master it, but I can do it.
You're a dabbler?
Yes.
I mean, you don't always have to finish the book if it's not a good book, right?
Yeah, as long as you're enjoying what you're doing in the time, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I feel like I'm a little ADD sometimes. I mean, never been diagnosed, and I don't know if that's how true that is, but just a little bit scattered, like 16 tabs open on your internet browser type of thing.
I can see all of those on top of mine right now.
I just think
I have coding, I have selling magic cards, like you name it, it's up there.
I just think that's normal nowadays to have all these browser tabs open and to be doing so many different things because my phone, what is it? My computer is not loading this page. Let me go to do something else on my phone real quick while my browser opens. It's like this tension is different nowadays than it was 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, it's all in our face right here. We have so many gateways to anything we could possibly want.
And now, with reels and shorts, it's less than a minute. So now we're being programmed to want things in such tiny size. And I've been thinking about more often, how do I go more viral? Because this is great that we're having a conversation, but this is like an hour long. It's not too often that hour-long conversations go viral.
No, not mom. No.
Right,
like TikTok, man.
Maybe I need to make it snappy or cut it down and just get to the meat of the subject.
Yeah, find your small little segments or your whole shtick and stick to that and like put it on TikTok or whatever. My TikTok is all just me drinking coffee and dancing around the house with my dogs. I'm not viral, but that's what we do.
Yeah, that's one of the platforms I'm not on yet is TikTok. I'm on pretty much everything else but TikTok.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have a wall against it. Like, no, that's for the little kids. So whatever. It's short. It's fun. You can move along quickly. You don't have to sit and focus on it very long.
And it's only videos, right? It's not photos.
No, it's just videos.
I gotcha. I feel like
even on Instagram, I get stuck in the reels. I look at pictures sometimes, but then I get in reels, and that's just where I live.
Go down a rabbit hole.
So bad.
With the Olympics coming on, I've been really interested in flags lately. So like country flags, trying to learn and identify what flags go with what countries. It's kind of interesting, actually. It sounds really boring, but I find it kind of
sounds interesting.
I just find it interesting because like they all have unique characteristics about them. Stars tend to be like democratic, white and red. Red, white, and blue is very like United States, but also Malaysia. Liberia has a very similar flag. There's all these flags that are almost identical. They just flip it around. Like France doesn't like US, so opposite. Instead of red, white, and blue, it's blue, white, and red. I don't know how actually determined it to be, but there's tricks to learning them all.
Yeah, and each color and symbol has a certain meaning.
Right, like a lot of African countries have a lot of black in them because I think of it because it's hot. You can identify whatever attributes you want to them, or like Uganda's really hot. They have a sun in their photo. Argentina's got a sun, I think. I'm still learning them all. There's a lot of like Central African countries I've never even seen the flags before. So there's like 200 flags out there.
It's a lot to take in, definitely.
So that's something I'm learning in my spare time.
Yeah, I remember I took a class, I guess, or something about flags and dissecting each portion, and each color has a certain meaning. Every symbolism has like small intricate things. If there was a war of this time, and that's why we have this specific symbolism. It's interesting.
Yeah, I find it kind of cool, and I'm a little bit geographically challenged. I don't know a ton of geography or like where every country is, so that's something I'd like to learn and get better at because I think a lot of Americans probably don't know that stuff.
No, not since elementary school.
So like, or even where all states are. I think that's something that people don't know, but I've been traveling a lot more, so I'm like, where is Iowa on the map? Oh, I should know this.
Right? Yeah, I remember being a kid and they would print out those blank maps for us and we would have to fill them in by the state shapes and whatever.
Yeah.
I could not do that now as an adult, but as a kid, I was great at it.
So
that kind of useless memory disappears after a while.
Yeah, but it's cool that going back to music, how you can hear like the first 3 seconds of a song that you're familiar with and like, oh, I know the song and the artist and like what song comes next, usually on the CD. I find it cool to see how your memory works like that.
Oh yeah, it's very interesting. Like it's harder with the newer music that I'm listening to than it is with the old stuff because the newer stuff I'm listening to is usually on a streaming platform and I'm really bad about shuffling everything. So I'm not listening to one specific artist. I'm like on that artist radio and listening to everything behind it because I can't focus enough to listen to just one thing. I want to listen to everything. But with the older things that like all of my CDs, I can put those in still and still know that next song, that next lyric, that everything about that whole freaking album.
And now sometimes on the streaming platforms, when you got it on shuffle, I'm listening to that song that I used to listen to all the time on repeat with the CD, and I'm waiting for the next song, and it's not there.
It's a letdown.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I was waiting for the next one.
Oh crap! I forgot to turn the shuffle off. That's right.
Yeah. You know, I was listening to an artist. I think it was Our Last Night. They were talking about how they don't want to release too many albums anymore. I mean, not that they don't want to music and keep putting it out there, but the format of the album or the CD is kind of dead because everybody's all into singles. They want that hit song. So if you have a CD, typically they're not going to listen to 8 songs. They're going to listen to 3 or 4 songs, maybe 1 or 2, most likely, and then move on to the next thing. So if you release a whole album with 10, 12 tracks on it, they're not always going to get listened to. They're going to get listened to more if you produce singles one after the other, which is kind of strange.
I've actually noticed a couple bands doing that. It threw me off. I was like, so we're getting an album? It's like, nope, just a couple songs. It's really weird. But that definitely makes sense. They're getting more of a streaming than producing an entire album or whatnot. Now, I noticed a lot of the bands that I listen to have been into printing vinyls, which is kind of cool. So like I've got my parents' old record collection, and now I get to add all of my music into it as well, which is, so it goes from Kiss to like ska music. I'm like, this is quite the leap.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, you know. Do you think any other mediums or forms will come back? Like, do you think one day, like 8 tracks are going to come back, or cassette tapes?
Cassette tapes are coming back, actually. Again, a lot of the bands that I've been listening to, I'll go to their merch websites or whatnot, and they have cassettes. Just like, when did this become a thing? A music festival I went to, I guess before pre-pandemic 2019, I came back with a bunch of cassettes that I got for free.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I've never thought to use these. I even bought a record player that has a cassette option in it just so I could listen to them. Because
Nice.
I hadn't had a cassette player in like 15 years.
Yeah, and I don't even think I own a CD player anymore.
Oh, but I got a record player, cassette player, CD player all in one.
Nice. Oh, AM, FM radio on there too?
It does have an AM FM radio on there and a port for USB, and it also has Bluetooth. I wanted everything all in one spot. Yeah, and well, because my computer doesn't have a CD drive in it, it's strictly for gaming and downloading games. And my vehicle is like a 2000 Xterra, so it doesn't have any Bluetooth or anything in it. So I have to use CDs when I drive. CDs I'm very well versed in.
Now some of the cars don't even have CD players; they're just Bluetooth only.
Yeah, that threw me off. I got for my last job, I had a work vehicle, and I got in it one day and brought my CDs, and I was like, what is this? There's nothing to stick this in. Let's go Bluetooth. Right. That's where we are now. The future, I forgot.
Everything's changing. What do you think is coming next?
It's like, I don't know. Well, all the old stuff is coming new. I saw they're working on the virtual reality glasses again.
Yeah.
I know Google Glass was a thing of like years back, and now it's becoming an actual probability for normal everyday people. So we're on the verge of being Wall-E pretty soon.
Well, they already have those Snapchat glasses, right? They have the camera on.
Yeah, but they ended up not being quite a thing.
Yeah.
For some reason, but I was listening to a podcast the other day, and some designing aspects they're doing to them is making them far more accessible to your normal everyday human. So that's their next leap they want to try and do. Because I mean, we've got Oculus and everything else. Like, why not take it into everyday? It's like you can look at somebody and see their stats. It's a video game in real life.
I think pretty soon there's going to be just normalized body cameras. Everybody's wearing a camera all the time.
That's true.
And just not for
I think
fun.
we're already thinking that. I know.
But like video, they're going to be just video everything. Maybe live streaming their entire life.
Basically, yeah. I mean, we kind of already do that.
I mean, I like the whole idea of document, don't create, because people get stuck about how do we create new content? Well, I have no script here. I don't have bullet points. We have a couple of things we might want to talk about, but it's just going off the cuff, it's just a real conversation.
Oh yeah, I didn't know what to expect coming into this. I mean, I've seen some of your podcast stuff and whatnot, but I obviously don't have, I have very limited knowledge of anything motorcycle related.
Yeah. which is fine.
I'm learning.
We can just connect, and just talk. I thought you were gonna have blue hair, by the way.
I changed. So I was in the process of trying to find a new job. So I hadn't been wanting to dye my hair, but now I think I've got a job lined up. I'm just waiting for the background check to go through. And then my friend who does hair, she hit me up and she's like, "Hey, I want to do scene kid hair on someone, and you don't do anything with your hair, so can I do this?" So I was like, "All right, let's go."
Like a guinea pig of sorts.
Yeah, that's fine with me. It's just hair; it grows back.
Right. Yeah.
I've shaved. There you go.
Every couple of weeks, I just shave it all off. Just give me a 0. And I used to have long hair. It was like past my eyes in high school. I had like the hat hair look all the time, but it was just
of course
much work. I just didn't like if I didn't do anything with just and wake up late, you don't have time. You're just like, that doesn't look good, and then you just walk around like an idiot.
Yeah, this is me. That's me every day now.
Well, you don't know what time I woke up. It could have been 5 seconds ago, and my hair was
don't
great.
touch me. Well, like when in high school, it used to be black. I had the hair straightener, the hair spray, everything, and then I was like that up until my early mid-20s. And then one day I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just don't care. I would shave the side and let people dye it, and then I let that go. And then once I grew that back out, I would dye it sometimes. I haven't cut my hair in like 3 years. I don't own a blow dryer. Like, I just don't care.
Your personal hair choices and style affect that prospects?
I hate that. It's just like tattoos and stuff too, because like I was working an outside job and I've got this one on my arm, obviously, but I've got 7 on my legs. So like I knew I had that job because I had that job for like the last 10 years. Going into a new job, I was like, so how are you about hair color? How do you guys feel about tattoos? Like, whatever. So luckily this job that I have lined up is a work from home job. Nobody really has to see me.
Yeah. I don't have any tattoos or piercings. I like them. I'd like to get one, kind of, but I'm such a like low maintenance person. Like I don't need any of that. Which is why I haven't in the past. It's just like I like it, but I'm kind of ambivalent. Like I don't want to spend money on myself like that.
That makes sense. The tattoos are easy because once they're on your skin,
You don't have to do anything, right? You don't have to make
that's it. It just sits there. You forget they exist. That's it.
Yeah. Well, some people like get them
Like
every 10 years or something.
Yeah, you can. I got this one touched up just because I was working in the sun so much that I was like, it's kind of not how I want it to look. So I got that one touched up, but the rest I've never, like I one on my side I've had since I was 18 and I've never touched it up at all.
Yeah.
It looks great, but that's because it doesn't see sunlight.
Right. So it definitely changes based on your activity level or where, if you're outside more often.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, if the sunlight will completely bleach out a tattoo. Or I mean, it's harsher on your skin anyhow, but if you've paid that much money to put ink into your skin, you kind of don't want to ruin it.
Well, if you got like really bad sunburn and all that skin peels away, I'm sure you probably lose a little bit.
You do, yeah. It peels the colors off, or getting scrapes on your tattoos and stuff like that. Like I have one on my leg that has a scar through the middle of it, but I mean, it's healed enough. The ink around it looks fine, but like there's just a red mark. That's weird.
But yeah, they're definitely like a period in time of your life. If you have a lot of them, people can look back and see like what you were doing at this time or what you're interested in, what you're about.
Yeah, a lot of mine are jokes.
Yeah.
Like one is, I have a little race cards based off of a typo. I have a festival nickname where I ate pizza off the ground. Like it's just a whole thing.
Yeah, it's like a moment in time.
Yeah, it's fun.
I've always thought about getting maybe like a checkered flag or a racing logo of some sort. Or my logo, ESR, would be kind of cool to do.
That would be cool, especially since like this is your thing. You might as well make it your thing for real. Put it in your skin.
Or there's one racer, James Rispoli. He's got in big bold letters on his forearms, hard. Like you can't. It's a statement.
It did, yeah, completely. So I put this adventure ship on my arm is so I couldn't sell out in life. Like it's in my skin. Life's an adventure. Let's keep it going. Yeah,
just gotta. It's about reminding yourself a little bit of what you want too.
Mm-hmm. Don't give up your dreams just because 9 to 5 says you need to.
So I'm trying to pursue my dreams right now. I'm trying to do everything possible to be in the motorsports industry and create my own job for myself.
That's awesome. It seems like you're doing well with it, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing the podcast now, which is pretty new, about a year and a half. I've been doing that, 80 some episodes, trying to do it once a week. And I did one an hour before I talked to you. So I was a little nervous because I had never done one back to back that quick. I need to space them out a little bit further, but it worked out. I was nervous because when you record these videos, then it takes a while to consolidate that video into a file. I was nervous or wondering if I would be able to even start this new one while the other one was still rendering itself, but it worked out. So.
Well, that's good. What else are you doing within the sport?
So I'm a track marshal, so I go to the different racetracks. That's why I was at Daytona. I was working the event.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Yeah, so this year I'm going to be doing a lot. This year I think I'm going to be doing over 30 events, maybe 38. We'll see what actually happens and what works out. But traveling all the different events and working them. And so I'm working with Moto America this year, the pro organization. I'm actually wearing the hoodie right now.
Nice.
And I picked up another job, so I'll be doing the air fence work. So deploying air fences on dangerous corners that have barriers. It's basically like a big airbag. If riders were to crash, they'll hit this airbag instead of a guardrail or something, and could potentially save their life or injuries from happening. So I'll be deploying those on like Thursday mornings, and then working the event for flagging and like being a first responder type thing. And then at the end of the event, down of the fence, and like putting them into the truck or wherever they need to be stored. So doing that, doing the podcast thing. I sell parts online. So I have a website, ericswanracing.com and shopesr.com. I sell parts on eBay and Amazon, mostly motocross and road racing and car parts.
Nice.
And gear and stuff like that. So, and now I'm also starting to be a coach. So this year I'll be a Motorcycle Safety Foundation instructor. So if you're ever looking to get your license, this is a great course to take. This is what I took this class about 13 years ago. And this is how I got my license. You just go to like a community college type of environment. There's a in classroom session where you sit down and you learn about how to actually the laws of the laws of the road. They teach you a little bit about the concepts of things, and then you go out into the parking lot. They provide a bike for you, and then teach you how to actually use the clutch, how to shift, how to brake, how to stop, and have a little cone course test for you. It's a very good learning environment, so I can't wait to start doing this here, and they pay really well. And if anybody who's watching this is interested in being an instructor, they told me they are in desperate need of instructors. So they want people, and I'm sure anybody in the motorcycle racing community could be a coach, no problem. I mean, we all know how to ride bikes. It'd be like second nature, and being around the sport is another plus. So it's all around a good thing. I can't wait to start doing it.
That's awesome.
So, and through being at the racetrack and networking a lot, I've been meeting a lot of people to podcast with. So it's a good networking environment. And, I'm thinking about maybe I should get into commentating. What if I get behind or in the booth, like as an analyst or commentary? I think would be awesome for the before, during, or after the races, or I don't know. I think that'd be something I'd be good at.
That'd be cool.
So just trying to figure out how to make as much money as possible so I can go back full-time motorcycle racing. That's really my goal, is to be a professional athlete and just race full-time. So trying to figure out how to do that.
That's hard to do. I'm sure you can figure it out. It seems like you're on the right track anyhow.
Yeah, I think I'm on the right track. I just got to keep beating on this hobby, this sport, and I think I'll get there. It's just so incredibly expensive. You just trying to build a following, build a network of people that I can go to the next sponsor and say, hey, look, I have 4 million followers. I have this many in these podcasts. That's really how you get the big brands to want to be with you. It doesn't matter how many trophies you have anymore. It's about how many followers you have.
You have to have money to make money, and they want the guys that are going to bring them money.
Right. So
yeah, you can win all day, but if people don't notice you.
Right. And, at some point, I think I'm maybe kind of getting there. 84 podcasts is a lot of podcasts, or 85. I forget the number. If it's that many, I think I can start looking for advertising for the podcast. Like, what reached out to company XYZ and said, I'll run a 15-second, a 30-second, 60-second, whatever the length is, ad read about your company. I think that's a way to monetize. I'm starting to monetize on YouTube already. So, it's like 23 cents, but you got to start somewhere.
Hey, that's something.
It's like you have to have, I don't know the exact numbers. I think it's like 100,000 views. I don't know the number.
I don't know. I've looked into getting into YouTube stuff, but I haven't convinced myself to do it yet. Mine would be on the nerdy side of life, though, like unboxing Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Magic cards and stuff like that. I
was into Pokemon a lot. I remember I caught them all. I hit all 150 of them before they introduced the new sets and all that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was working on selling them because I used to way back when. So like I have this small stack of cards here. This is $500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that $500 to purchase or $500 you're making a profit off of?
I can make a profit off of.
That's good.
If I want. And I've been meaning to ship them in, but I have more I need to go through, so there's no point in sending that until I finish going through this other pile.
Right. I was actually part of the group who got Pokemon cards banned from my elementary school because I was part of the group who was selling them to like the first, or not selling them. I wasn't selling them. I think I was just trading them, and I was making ridiculous trades to people who didn't know what they were getting into.
Oh, you're the jerk.
Yeah, I was like going to the younger classmen and like, hey, I'll trade you this, like, I don't even know, Charizard for like a worse one for a better one, whatever they were,
Uh-huh. I had a guy try and do that to me once when I was a little kid, and like we made the trade or whatever. He's like, yeah, well, look at the back of that card. It's kind of scraped. And I was like, okay. And I pulled it out of my pack and I was like, all right, so now it's worth $200. Like,
yeah.
Thanks, douche.
No, but there's a lot of games, even Nintendo 64 games about Pokemon. There was like Pokemon Snap. I think I had that.
Yeah, a lot of, honestly, we were playing that a few years ago. Somebody brought a 64 to my old house, and we would all there was like 10 to 15 of us who would just sit around and play Pokemon Snap.
Or I must have had the Game Boy Color with the blue version of that cartridge.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I think my brother had the red one. I had the blue one.
That's awesome. I have one that I acquired from cleaning out somebody's house. I collect things, so like I'll flip trade whatever I need to do to get by. But I'm also really bad at just keeping the things. But I have a Japanese version of the blue. I tried to plug it in my Nintendo, and I was like, I don't even know how to start this right now.
Yeah, it's actually in Japanese characters and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's really cool. I just don't know what to do with it at this point.
Yeah, so how do you sell your stuff? Sounds like you flip and sell things.
Yeah, here and there. So I know Amazon it's harder to do it now, but I was flipping Pokemon grab bags on Amazon. So it's just whatever leftover cards, you ship them off, whatever. It's like 27 in a pack, you make $30 off of them. No big deal. Then eBay was one we were utilizing for a while, and Facebook Marketplace is a great place to flip things too.
Yeah.
Or getting in with your nerdy networking connections that I have. Like I know some guys who work at some of these larger companies that will buy things off of me.
Yeah, that's cool to see. You just got to fuel your passion and your hobbies and all that. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, it's a nice little side thing right now, but I am looking forward to getting in with this other company so I can make a larger amount of money to fund the other things I need to do.
Yeah. So what do you do for your normal day job then?
Right now, nothing.
Yeah, you said you looked for a job.
Yeah. I interviewed for a company. It's a property management software company, so I'm hoping that goes well. Everything about it seems like really awesome, so I'm hoping to get in there. Prior to this, I was part of a company that built garden centers, like Lowe's and Home Depot. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We were like the people on the ground, and we built all the structures, the tables, and then we were quality control of the plants coming in, whatever. So I did that for, I think I said 10 years, and our contract ended in December 31st, 2021. So about since September, I haven't really had anything to do. They were just like, find a new job. We don't care what you do. You're still getting a paycheck. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess.
In between things.
Yeah, so I do dog walking and dog training on the side, and then for fun, I've been spending a lot of time out at the barn training horses. That's a lot of fun, but I don't get paid for that. It's just, I guess I get paid in life points. And then
you like a Caesar Milan of sorts?
I guess I just like animals and being outside. So
The animal whisperer.
yeah. So like the horses are like giant dogs. I've always worked with dogs. It's a whole. I mean, I know it's more complicated than that, but it's fun. And then I've been pouring myself into my Olympic weightlifting too. So that's been exciting.
Tell me about some of your experience with training the animals. Like, what are you doing for training horses? Are you trying to like sit, stay, come, like?
They don't sit too much, but we do work on staying, like ground tying, so that I can stop the horse wherever he is and just like walk away from him and do whatever I'm doing and whatever.
Yeah.
And then most of the horses I'm training are horses that nobody's been on, or if they have been on, it has been for years that nobody sat on them. So it's reworking manners, gaining trust, learning smaller things like this pile of dirt in the middle of the arena won't kill you. This shovel that's sitting next to it isn't going to murder you. The hawk that flew out of the tree isn't here to murder you. The rabbit on the ground, yes, but not you. And I get them broken in for not broken in. I get them trained for lessons for little kids, so anywhere from like 4 to adults, I guess.
And sounds like they can be very sensitive to all those different stimuli coming in.
Horses are gigantic babies. Everyone's like, they're so majestic. I'm like, no, they're big dum-dums.
Yeah.
Like, no, like I watched one eat a dry shampoo bottle one day. Last week, it exploded in his mouth and it looked like he had rabies. Last week, one swallowed an entire bag of carrots. Like, not the carrots, just a bag, like, is inside of his body. And I was like, well, I guess this is what we're doing now. And I have one that I pick up his foot and like to, clean his hooves out. And he just like full weight leans on me. I'm like, dude, you are over a ton. Like, I'm 150 pounds. You will kill me. I promise.
Yeah, talking about ingesting plastic bags. I just shared something on social media the other day about sea turtles. I had no idea how sea turtles, their anatomy is designed in their throat and their esophagus. And so fish drink in water all the time when they eat. Obviously, they're in water, but they use their gills to expel all the water. And sea turtles, they actually throw up all of the water. They don't have gills, but in order to not throw up the food, they have all these teeth-looking things in their esophagus. So when the food comes out, or when they go to regurgitate, the water comes out, but the food gets trapped and it sticks in them. So that's great for food, but it's not great if you have paper or plastic bags in your stomach. So that's why sea turtles and probably other types of sea animals have problems with plastic because they can't, when they go up, come out.
Oh man, I never thought about that, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like a trap, and it works great for food, but not for when we pollute the ocean. So.
Oh man, yeah, I've been watching a lot of stuff about that lately. I'm like, man, there's no way to win this one unless we just stop using plastic. But even then, you got to clean it up.
Yeah, it's got to go somewhere. Something has to happen.
Yeah, like I saw some poster article the other day about some place in the desert where people or companies just go and drop all their clothes, like clothes that are out of style, out of fashion anymore. So it's just like a desert of clothing at this point. I'm like, man, that's sad. What a waste.
Part of an experiment or a challenge that was you have to carry around all of your garbage, all of your trash that you generate for an entire week with you, like just carry it around to just prove and to show how much you actually generate. Like it's wild. And I'm probably an offender myself. Like I'm of the consumerism age and I sell things online and it's the part of the modern culture now. Just away from it.
Yeah, we do our best in even recycling. A lot of the stuff that we think is recyclable just isn't. It goes to waste.
It's definitely difficult. I don't know. I don't have a solution. I'm just talking about it.
I think a part of the solution is talking about it.
I guess just bringing awareness to it. It's amazing to me. I live I live on a major freeway basically. I'm 50 feet from a highway. It's like 45 mile an hour, and 3 lanes both directions, so 6 lane total. And I guess maybe 4 lanes. I don't even know how many lanes it has. But very major driven area. 43 million traffic count per year, I think. So very high driven. That's pre-COVID numbers. I don't know what it is today, but the point is huge thoroughfare that people go through all the time. And I get so much trash on my lawn that just blows property all the time. It's like I can't keep up with it. I used to make it a point in the summertime to go out there and pick up trash like at least once or twice a week. And you get like a bag full of trash of like paper and cups and cigarette butts and stuff. I'm like, people just throw this shit out their window all the time. I don't understand why this is okay. And it's like I got to the point where I would love to put like I don't know, some sort of camera outside mounted to a tree, so I could get people's license plates and just see all the people who are littering right on my lawn, throw in their McDonald's garbage that they just finished. It's like, how fucking rude. Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
It's like, who raised you? Who told you this was okay?
I don't know. I've never done is litter. And I just, that one thing grinds my gears. That's my segment. It grinds my gears.
I got a lot that grinds mine, but yes, that's a big one.
What grinds your gears?
Trash people who don't know how to take care of their dogs.
Yeah.
Like that makes me like walking dogs. Like you don't let your dog cross the street to come see my dog. Like you don't know my dog. You don't know me. You don't reach over my fence and pet the animals. Like people who are yanking there's just like, there's a lot. And it really makes me angry. Like I've been so many hiking adventures where I'll have my dogs leashed because I know this is a populated trail. I don't want them scaring anybody. They're large dogs. Like they can be terrifying, especially the big one, because he runs towards you barking. He doesn't run away from you barking. So, I'll keep them leashed. They are well behaved. They're well mannered. But then here comes the lady with her off leash dog who is an asshole and comes barking and growling at my dogs and then yells at me like it's my fault that my dogs have gotten like buck at her dog. I'm like, your dog approached them. They're allowed to get mad. He's in their space. I expect him.
That's one thing that is crazy. When you're in the parks, I do a lot of mountain biking and running and cycling. So you could be going 20, 30 miles an hour on a bicycle and you got off-leash dogs in the middle of a park. It can be very dangerous for me, for your dog. I don't want to hurt your dog. I also don't want to get chased by your dog because I've been chased many times by dogs. And it could be out in the middle of the country. Yeah, it's your own house. But I mean, I still have the right to come by. I'm not on your property and not have your dog chase me, biting at my feet. That's not cool. Yeah. So I found out that dogs stop chasing you about 23, 24 miles an hour. Well, that's hard to go 24 miles an hour on a mountain bike sometimes.
Yeah. I grew up kind of out in the country, and my cousins and I used to go on, we all got really into exercising. So we would go on very long bike rides together. Like that's what we did. So we had a group. So if anybody died, somebody would know about it. Yeah. The first one they invited me on, I was like, yeah, sure. I'll go 6, 12 miles, whatever. No problem. I got chased by a dog for 1.5 miles. I was like, I don't want to play with you. I don't want to do this anymore. This is not fun. I've never hated a dog so much in my life.
Yeah, it's actually
my cousins now too.
It's quite terrifying. I mean, I know dogs. I like dogs, but when one's pretty angry and chasing you and trying to nip at you, it's like, what do I do?
I don't want to hurt you, but I will hurt you if I have to, I guess.
So it's like it's you versus them at that point, and you're in the middle of nowhere, and a lot of times you're by yourself.
Yeah. Yep. That's happened to me running enough times that dogs came through the woods. I'm like, where's your human? Yeah. What the fuck is this? What are you doing?
Human, where is that person?
Yeah, there was some video I saw the other day of a pit bull who was off leash in a park, and there were carriage horses, except they were large, like draft horses with the giant feet, and they stomped the dog because the dog tried to eat him, and the lady was yelling at the carriage driver like it was his fault. He was like, "What am I? Your dog ran at the horse. The horse is." they're a prey animal technically. Like it's going to react as a prey animal should and defend itself.
Right. That horse is 8 times bigger than that dog, if not more. Like it's not gonna go somewhere.
It doesn't recognize this other than this is a wolf type creature that is attacking me and I need to defend myself.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, people are idiots.
I've never had a dog, but I've always wanted a dog. I had 4 cats at one point. I have no more animals. My cat, unfortunately, just last one just passed away. I've been looking on Pet Finder, but I don't know if it's the right time with me going away for 40 weekends a year. If it's
that's a lot.
I'd have to like just pay someone once a week pretty much to come over and hang out with, probably each day for a half hour. Saturday, Sunday would be nice. Play with them, but get a little artificial feeling.
Yeah, I mean, people pay me to do that. Come sit at their house and play with their dogs. I had one guy book me for an hour 2 times a day, so 2 hours a day to sit with his cat, and I was like, wow, what do you do? Like, goodness, but that's $60 an hour for me to sit in his house. I wasn't that mad about it, but at the same time, I was like, this is really stupid.
$60?
Yeah.
That's quite a bit. I mean, because you gotta drive there, you gotta get to his house. Level of trust also to probably be a good standing Samaritan, I would imagine.
Yeah, I try not to do anything. If I go into people's houses to spend time with cat, I'll just sit on the floor.
Yeah.
Like I'll litter box, food, water, but I'll sit on the floor and just like wait for the cat. So that way I'm not like on the furniture, on the stairs, anything like that. Like I'll just sit and chill. I'll wait just so I'm not touching anything, because people have like security cameras everywhere and like whatever. Like I had some people book me without having met me prior, and they're like, here's the code to our door. And then I went in and there were security cameras everywhere, and I was like, I'm just gonna sit here and not touch anything.
Right. Yeah, please don't steal from me.
I've done nothing. I've sat on the floor. Just that's it.
Yeah. I'm sure you see some interesting houses. People got unique collections of stuff. Their own, their own shrines of sorts.
Sort of. A lot of them are Target shrines. Like everything looks like it's come from Target. I'm like, I'm not trying to hate on anyone, but this is very typical white lady.
Yeah, but you also recognize that it's from Target, so you know what they sell.
I do. I do. Well, yeah, I used to be bad about going there and buying video game items a whole lot.
Okay.
So.
Are you an IKEA person?
No. I used to work the plants there when our company had a subsect, and we did that. And that experience just early in the morning, even without customers, was enough for me to be like, I would rather just burn this place down. I'm good. Hard no.
I put a couple things in there, but I'm not a IKEA enthusiast, I guess. I just like buying cheap stuff. I'm
just not a shopper.
Yeah.
I don't like shopping. Like I know exactly what I'm looking for, what area I'm looking for, and that is where I'm headed, and I don't want to look at anything else. It's too many people, too many things. Let's go.
In a way that you're in there for like 3 hours, right?
I can't do that. Oh my God. My mom used to be like that, and I think that probably just put it into my head that you need to spend maybe 30 minutes in the store at most, and you're good to go. Even grocery shopping, I'm 30 minutes in and out. I don't care.
I was trying to bring a list, and I just stick the list pretty well.
That's good. I try and bring the coupons and then forget to use the coupons, and I'm like, well, I tried. I did my best.
Well, my parents were always really good about trying to instill financial freedom and financial, literacy in myself and my brother growing up. So I remember he would make a joke about like impulse purchases. Like, did you really mean to get that when you went to the store? Like, I don't think you even wanted that before you saw it. Like big jokes like impulse purchase, like impulse purchase.
Right. Make you feel bad about it.
Yeah, and he was totally right, because it's like, well, I didn't need that. You don't need a balloon. Like, why do you need this?
No. Yeah, I'm really good at talking myself out of buying things that I want.
Yeah.
Like I'll even have it in the shopping cart, whatever, and walk around the store getting everything else. Like, I'd be like, I don't freaking need this, and I'll just walk away. Why did I want that at that time? I don't know. And it's been really easy with the time of COVID to not, like, it's cut off my impulse buying, because I can't walk into stores and see stuff I want anymore, because I'm just so irritated by everybody in there at this point.
Unless you got the one-day Amazon Prime membership.
I've got that, but I've been really good at, I've got a new phone, so it's not on my home screen anymore. So I kind of like out of sight, out of mind, the app's not there anymore.
Yeah. Do you think that helps though? Because you can always just go right to the website. It's still there.
I could, but I don't. Because it feels like an extra step, so I don't do it. Which sounds really dumb, but
Yeah, it's like creating barriers to help your own.
yeah, well, yeah, and also I live alone. I pay for everything for myself. Like I have to set those barriers in line, or I won't survive.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried that with I deleted a Facebook app, but then I just
Mhm.
go right to Safari and then just go right to the website. So I don't know if it really helped at all.
That took a lot of undoing for me. I had to deactivate it and then uninstall everything and then delete and actively find other things to do anytime I felt like I needed to get on there. Yeah, but so I had it off for like 5 years. I turned it back on during, I guess, when pandemic stuff started, so I could keep in contact with my concert friends.
Yeah.
Because obviously I wasn't going to be seeing them because I traveled for shows predominantly. Like, I think between the end of 2019 to the end of 2020, I went to like 5 or 6 different cities just for shows. It was fun, like whatever. But yeah, I turned it back on for that, and then now I'm really good about not opening Facebook anymore. I think I finally broke that Instagram, man. That'll get me hours. I'm like, what am I doing?
It's like a time suck. A good way to look at it, I heard, is it's an infinity pool. It just goes on forever. It will never stop. There's no winning. There is no like conclusion. It's just more. There's always more.
Yeah. Consume, and then you get the dopamine hits, and it gets addictive because you keep getting dopamine from everything that you're doing.
And I guess I'm feeding the fuel or the fire with creating all this content. I mean, everybody is nowadays. Something in the back of my mind that I keep thinking about is I want to create so much content that people can't consume it all.
Oh.
Because people they're just always consuming. So what do you have that they want, or what is interesting about you that you can put out there, and that you could potentially monetize at some point. So like, this is great. This maybe brings followers or awareness that I exist. But then it's not always, there's no sales from this. They're just viewing podcasts. I guess you could get sales from the ads that were being displayed, or if I get an advertising partner that pays me, and you watch it. But also it'd be cool to produce like a book or something, maybe a written book that you could buy, but maybe also an audio book that I could speak on top of. That would be a purchasable thing. Or like for you, maybe you're really good at training horses. You could produce like a how-to guide on horse rearing or horse training or something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe I could write on at least my experience of racing up to this point, like my track marshal, my coaching, podcasting with all these different people. Like, I've already podcasted with the current 21 world champion. Like, that's huge.
Awesome.
I didn't think I'd get there at episode 60. Like, that's crazy.
That's so cool.
But you never know until you try.
Mm-hmm. Just a matter of finding your audience, finding what they want, and bringing them in.
Oh,
You gotta find your shtick.
Sure, I've been listening to this new book and this new audiobook. You probably heard of Dude Perfect.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
The basketball trick shot videos. They have a book called Go Big. And so I'm listening to that right now, and how they went big. And that's such a viral thing, to hit a trick shot from top of a stadium or all those crazy things. But
you guys are ridiculous.
How do I create virality, or how do I be viral in the sport of motorcycle racing? There's a guy, Gray Pham, who has GP Industries, who does viral videos, I guess. It's probably the most viral thing I could think of right now for motorcycle racing. He shoots video footage. It's super high quality, top of the line cameras, and he goes to all sorts of racetracks, international level people, up to like your local club racer at Arma. And they'll get these amazing shots of them like backing it in, sliding rear tire out, or wheelies, but he'll throw on this like hip hop beat or something catchy, and he's got graphics on it. I mean, it just looks fantastic. But like, that kind of concept, I guess, is the most viral thing I know for this sport, anyways.
That is a good one. I've seen a lot of that. It's come across my Instagram is getting wild now. But yeah, I've seen a lot of that come across. It's just, you got to find that what draws them, like the popular songs right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, a lot of them come off of TikTok. They're the TikTok hits that have transferred over into Instagram or whatever. other platforms you want to use. It's just what do the kids like?
Well,
You're gonna find what the kids like.
I was writing some stuff just to myself, just like spitballing, idea making last night, and I was thinking like, if you got that kind of footage, that quality footage, but of passes, like hard passes or mistakes, running off track, or crashes, or like why do people go to NASCAR races? They like to see the crazy stuff. They want to see the cars flipping and flying. I mean, not everybody, but they want to see the guys fighting each other and going back and forth. But you probably have to film for hours and hours and hours to get those 1 or 2 second moments. But those 1 and 2 second moments would be worth it.
Those are the ones that get it big. They're the ones everybody wants to see.
It's
Nobody wants to see the passive racing. Like, that's not exciting.
Yeah, but maybe if you got up close slow-mo shots of that regular racing, that could be interesting too.
Yeah,
like
fair enough. You just have to find the proper angles.
Yeah, super slow-mo, up close, high def.
The pretty shots.
Yeah, the money shot for sure.
There we go.
So
just how do you get there and do that?
Well, so I'm already at the racetracks. I'm already going to the tracks, but we can't film while we're working the events. So that's a separate job. I'd have to do that as a separate thing. I have put my GoPro at the side of a track on top of a cone before, but I mean, you only get one angle, and it's not it's not moving.
Yeah, it's not the follow through.
Yeah, it's just static. So very different. So I don't know. I'm just thinking about how to get it bigger, or because I think the sport's so interesting. It's just I don't think it's marketed in the right way. Like you go out to the bar and you see football, basketball, baseball, maybe hockey. Now it's Olympics everywhere, but you rarely see motorcycle racing on TV at your local sports bar or anywhere.
That's true.
But if you put it in front of people, they're like, wow, that's awesome. What's going on there? Like, let me get into this. For the most part, I've seen people are how they react to it. It's just how do you get it in front of the mass media?
Yeah, that's the difficult part.
Oh, it's
around here, it's kind of a thing. Like the Supercross is kind of big around here. Like Taco Max got it on, but not anywhere else. I don't know. The Olympics is a thing. I don't even want to get into it.
I was watching some all kinds of stuff, figure skating, and there's bobsled, and I was watching women's hockey, men's hockey.
Hockey's fun. Did you watch curling?
I watched some of the curling. I don't understand it too well. I know that you have to be in the house as close to the button as possible, and it's about being like, if you have more, I don't know what you call them, more pucks closer to the stones.
Stones.
If you have more stones closer to the button, then you get points.
Fair enough. You know a good amount.
A little bit. My brother went curling. Actually, he went to Canada for like an event, and he did curl, and like not competitively, like it was like an open exhibition practice type of thing. But he went there
to learn how to curl.
His college buddies. Yeah, he went there and tried it out.
That's cool.
So, yeah, I love hockey too. I played hockey at varsity in high school. I rode the bench more than I played, but it was always fun. I played roller hockey for many years and soccer for many years. So I switched. I finally made the transition in high school. I'd only skated on ice like a handful of times, but I knew the sport really well. So it was trying to transition from roller to ice. Very different. It's very similar, but you stop different. You shoot different. Like you have to worry about buildup of ice on your stick, where you don't have to worry about any buildup on the outside, or it's just and I'm going into it with AAA level hockey players, and I'm barely learning how to skate. So I got my head down, like looking at the puck, like, oh, that wasn't good.
That's how you fall down.
Yeah, just getting knocked out. Not knocked out, but knocked out pretty good. And just learning. I just the biggest thing was conditioning. I didn't have the right conditioning for getting into hockey, because it's also very cold, and you're learning how to adapt to that coldness and working at peak performance in the cold. That was something I had to get better at. And I actually had, when I was growing up, they diagnosed me with exercise-induced asthma.
Oh.
I think wrongly. Now I never had, but I did have an inhaler for when I'd get winded, and things like that. So my asthma is probably different to most people's. I'm not but I think I just had weak lungs. So for a while when I was getting into ice hockey, I found this thing called the Power Lung. I'm not sponsored by them. It's just a great product. Check it out. It's basically like you hold it in your hand, and a mouthpiece on it, and it's got breathe through it and you breathe out of it, but it's resistance training for your lungs. So it's like you're breathing through a straw or a much smaller hole than you normally do, and it's very difficult to use it. So I would always do it before and after hockey practice to strengthen, but also do it as a workout separately, and it made my lungs way stronger. And after that, I realized I didn't have asthma. I just, like I said, I had weak lungs, and that's something I never strengthened. So once I strengthened it, I could compete, and I had good endurance. And since then, I stopped using the Power Lung because it's kind of hard to use. You have to hold it. You can't do anything else. Now I use something called the training mask. It's much more popular that you just wear it. You put it on your head. You can go out for a run with it. You can exercise, do whatever workout you want with it, bike, and it's great. The first time I used the training mask that you wear, I just put it on in my apartment years ago, and I was walking around the apartment. I was getting winded, like just walking around. Nothing. It's like, wow, this is nuts. It simulates elevation-based training, so you're getting less oxygen coming in, and you're rebreathing your own carbon dioxide, so you're getting less on top of that. So that's a game changer. If you can mentally get through it and not take the thing off, by the end of it, I was running with the training mask faster than my girlfriend without the mask at the time. So it was, and it's so psychologically, it's killing the other person because like, how are you doing this? And I can't, it's like,
you've got the better lung capacity at that point.
Yeah, you and people looking at you like, what the hell is that guy doing? You sound like Darth Vader a little bit. People give you the looks, that's for sure.
Well, I know that's an important part of sports in general. Like you need to train your smaller muscles and focus on your breathing and actually taking care of yourself and identifying what's wrong with you and whatever. That's like with my Olympic weightlifting that I'm doing, all of my broken bones that I've had in the past, like things I have never done physical therapy for, didn't put in the extra time to make sure I was gaining that strength back. I feel that all.
Oh yeah.
Everything I'm doing, like my right shoulder will collapse sometimes, my right ankle shifts forward, my right hip gets weird because I've broken this wrist, I've torn the muscles in the shoulder, I broke this leg twice, I have 5 pins in my knee, I've broken the toes, I've broken the, the whole thing.
Dangerous hobby.
Yeah, I've done that doing other things. I'm an idiot mostly, like skateboarding, bike riding, jumping off of things. I'm not really afraid of stuff. I just do go headlong into something until I'm fucking broken somewhere. But yeah, so like all of that stuff I feel now, even though it's been, the last time I broke something was about 2 years, but I can feel everything in between.
Yeah, and even if you do all of the physical therapy, it only gets you to like, what is it, 60% or something like that? They stop super early because insurance is like, oh, you're good now. Now do it on your own.
Yep. So I'm really a big proponent of yoga and any kind of sports thing, like having that mobility, being able to support your core and brace yourself. Like that's so crucial to anything you're doing. Hands, ankles, knees, all of it. Like, you've got to focus on that mobility. You're getting nowhere.
I've been doing hot yoga for the past couple years. Doing yoga in general, but hot yoga, I think I've gotten 130 sessions in the last 2018 or something. So even through the pandemic, I had to stop for a few months when they shut down, but
of course.
I'm going Thursday and Friday, tomorrow and Friday, and then leaving Friday afternoon for Miami. But what kind of yoga do you do?
It's kind of a blend of like Hatha yoga and everything else. But I just do it in my living room because I've got an app on my phone it's an app that I used to do when I am in the gym. But it's a group that I did initially when I first joined a gym and got into yoga and weightlifting and whatever. But then they released an app, and I was like, oh, so I can just do these workouts at home way easier. So I've kept the yoga portion, everything else, but then now I go to a real gym for my weightlifting. It's like something about yoga and groups, I get distracted. My brain obviously jumps around a lot. So I feel like I don't do as well. And then I get really competitive with everything I'm doing. So like yoga is not a place to be competitive. That's not what you do.
To see the guy next to you and kind of look at him a little bit. He's like, he's right in front of me, distracting me, but he's also wobbling, and so it's gonna make me wobbly.
Yeah, my thing is like, man, that person's going a lot lower in their pose. Maybe I can go lower too, and then I like hurt myself. Like, all right, well, this isn't the place for that.
Yeah, you always got to go to your own limit, but if someone else is killing it, you're like, oh man, I want to do that.
Yeah, yep. So group exercise is not for me. Individual exercise is fine. Like the weightlifting that we do in the gym, there's 3 or 4 of us, but it's not all at the same time. It's separate, and we're all on different levels, so you can't really compete that much in that one. I compete against myself, so that's far more satisfying for me.
Yeah, you said you're into Olympic deadlifting.
Oh, Olympic weightlifting, yeah.
Yeah. So what does that consist of? Will we see you in a couple years on TV?
If they ever bring it back and I get really good, yes. They took it out of the Olympics after last year.
What was the reasoning behind that?
I don't know. Maybe it didn't draw enough audience. I didn't really follow that much into it, but this style of lifting I've only been doing since the like April of 2021. But like all of my numbers have grown exponentially. Like I'm out snatching my coaches where they were their first year, and I'm not even a full year into it yet. Like she's like, don't worry, it gets weird. It took me over 1.5 to 2 years to be able to snatch over 100 pounds. I'm snatching 125 pounds. And like my back squat jumped from 125 to 200 pounds. Like it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of dangerous. You're like throwing heavy weights over your head. Like I threw 150 pounds over my head the other day doing a jerk, and I was like, I never thought I would be doing this in my life, but here we are.
I would assume that you don't have necessary risks. You practice it with lower weight before you move up, right?
Yeah, that's the goal anyhow. I have dropped a weight on my head, and I've been too close to people when they've thrown a weight up and it's flown backwards, and I gashed the side of my head open. So that was fun. Like I think it was like 150 pounds he had thrown over, trying to warm up because that's their warm up weight, but like that's a big weight for me. He threw it over his head and cut the side of my face open. It was fine. Maybe.
These people.
Right. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. One day we'll get there.
To pick things up and put them down?
Yeah. So like, what was it? The other day I was just doing deadlifts because I couldn't get a squat rack or something. And I was just, that's exactly what I was saying. It's like, pick it up, now put it down. Pick it up, now put it down.
Are you into like kettlebell workouts?
At home, I have kettlebells. Like I have everything set up. I can just work out at home and do bodybuilding and whatever else. But this style of lifting is more fun for me. But yeah, actually I have a whole bunch of kettlebells and everything else in between.
I think that's one thing I've never really worked with is kettlebells.
They're fun. It's just a matter of if you're doing the like flip ups, just like catching it properly so you don't bang your wrist. And like I've come out with huge bruises across the back of my wrists, or if you're up and you drop it on your shoulder or whatever, or your face, that happens.
Yeah, I can make sense.
Toes. Yeah.
It was not really a big deal. But my latest injury, super minor, but I was pumping up my bicycle tire and I got my leg caught between the bottom thing and the plunger. So like I pinched my leg in there pretty good, and it's all got a big bruise. I'm like, oh, that was stupid.
I have a big scrape up the front of my shin because I was doing a deadlift and I had like 215 pounds on the bar, and I picked it up and I went to drop it to put it down, and I didn't realize that there was a clip that somebody had put on the platform underneath it. Yeah. So the 250 pounds kicked back into my leg and like jammed my knee and put a gash down the front of my leg. I'm like, okay. Here we go. That's fine. I took that as a sign that that's the end of your workout. You should probably stop.
It's another day in the office.
Right. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's good. We come in bleeding all the time.
Yeah. Just pushing around motorcycles, their foot pegs are. I cut my legs multiple times just pushing my motorcycle. I'm like, oh, that was dumb.
Oh, is it? My boyfriend actually, he wrecked in one of the armor races a few years ago, and he ended up with a huge gash down his inner thigh from his foot peg and went through his leathers and everything.
Nice. a big impaling factor. People can get impaled by that.
Yeah, I think he knows firsthand.
Oh.
We were drunk at the bar one night and he was like showing me pictures and I was like, this probably isn't safe for anybody sitting around.
You mentioned a whole bunch of broken bones. Have you had surgeries?
One of them I did. I have 5 pins in my right tibia.
Okay, and you eventually get those taken out, or they stay in forever?
My doctor suggested that with my habits, I should keep them in.
Just create some more fusion.
Yeah, he's like, no matter what, that break will always be there and it'll probably be a little bit weaker. And with your potential of injuring yourself again, you might want to just leave those in there. So that's been about 8 years.
Okay. Now I've heard differing things about breaks. I'm sure it depends on the type of break or how many actual fractures are inside that bone. But I've heard that when a bone breaks, it can heal stronger because it's more calcified or more ossified. Is it?
Yeah, I think it depends on the break type. Like mine was a lateral fracture down my tibia. So he's like, this is going to sound dumb, but this is a break that little old ladies get. But somehow you've done it. And I was like, yeah, I did do that. He's like, so like the way that's broken, it won't like create that pressure wall. It's just down the middle of the bone. So it could shear off again.
Oh, I gotcha. There was one time I was getting a second opinion about my shoulder to see if I actually needed surgery. The first guy said yes. Second guy said no. So I was like, well, what now?
What?
So I had to get a third opinion. But one of the guys who was telling me you definitely need surgery, I remember in his office, like nothing happened right then. I had no more pain than I did before. But as soon as he told me I needed surgery, I immediately felt nauseous. I felt like I was going to throw up. Like it was just a mental thing of like, oh no, I have a future pain awaiting me. This is not going to be good. I'm not looking forward to this. I need to get rid of some food. Like that doesn't make any sense.
It's just your brain building up the process of what it's going to feel, probably.
Just the anxiety of.
This is real. This is real life. I have to do this now. I don't want to do this.
Like,
yeah.
It doesn't make sense, but fight or flight or get rid of food.
Yeah. Like I was convinced mine wasn't broken. I was like, it's just ligament damage or something. I jumped off of a thing. I walked around for 12 hours. I know it was hurting. Yeah. It's fine. And then no, he was like, you need surgery probably pretty quickly. Okay, fair enough. Good job, me.
But I'm always hesitant to get surgery because there's always a chance you could die on the surgery table from like not waking up or complications, or they leave a syringe inside of you or something. Like all kinds of crazy things, or a gauze that's now infected. Like you don't know what's going to happen. So I've always been like anti-surgery, but there's obviously times where you need it and it can definitely help. But there was one time I dislocated my thumb. He's like, you need surgery. Like I don't want it, and I dislocated it so bad. He's like, I've never seen anybody have type of dislocation and not get it. I mean, that's your choice, but this is our recommendation. So I didn't get it, and they gave me this cast that you could take on and off. It was like a temporary type of thing that you could remove, and I didn't really wear it. I didn't want to atrophy my entire hand. Is what I wanted. I wanted to keep it safe and but not lose all the muscle. So I kept moving it, and it was very difficult because I couldn't really write with my right hand. I had to use my other hand, and I was in college taking chemistry classes. It was a nightmare. So I went back to the doctor for a checkup like a month or two later, and he said, which hand is it? He couldn't tell which hand it was. It was so healed in such a good way that he literally couldn't tell which hand it was. And he told me, you definitely need surgery. So I'm like, do you need to be a new BMW, or do I really need surgery? I can't tell anymore because there's a huge conflict of interest that I think that they're trying to be in your best interest, but how do you know?
Yeah, I think most people probably wouldn't have taken care of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They would have just sat there and be like, oh, it just doesn't work anymore, because that's how people are.
Right.
Like my grandma broke her back, and instead of doing any of the exercises she was supposed to do, she just sat there and then never could walk upright again. But I mean, it feels mean saying, well, that's what happens, because that was my grandma. But like that watching that, I've always been like, okay, So we take care of ourselves. We do the exercises. We don't just sit here and dilapidate our bodies. Like,
And even
you gotta move.
during the pandemic, when I couldn't go to yoga, I noticed a significant increase of shoulders because I've dislocated both shoulders multiple times, and in order for me to have good shoulders, I have to just keep them strong.
Mhm.
Do those exercises, and there's a lot of you're not doing weightlifting, but your arms are over your head for quite a while, and you're
Oh
stretching,
yeah.
and that's beneficial. That's really helpful.
It's super functional strength.
Yeah, it's like why is this not part of like your healthcare plan? Like this should be covered by insurance.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a whole thing. My dad and I just had a whole conversation about insurance because I was like, I need to go to the dentist. I know I need to go to the dentist. I don't have insurance right now though, because I don't have a job. So I don't have insurance. He's like, don't you have a health savings account? And I was like, absolutely. But the money that's in there is not enough to cover what I would need for a dentist. He's like, I don't understand. I was like, this is how much these things cost. This is how, but I would have to get a procedure before that from an actual dentist, before an oral surgeon, and blah, 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 blah. And he goes, I never thought about it like that. And I was like, and this is the problem with insurance mostly. Like, I'm not saying we need healthcare for all, but we need something.
That healthcare is tied to your job.
It's stupid.
And then it is pretty strange that we have really good healthcare and dental work. I'm sorry. The joke is that British people have great dental care, but they don't get it, and we have poor service, and we do get it, and we pay for it, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, something needs to change somewhere along the line.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy about the whole system. I don't know what needs to change, but I'm
not an expert, but something needs to change.
I don't know about socialist values too much. I think those can cause problems, but I think in 100 years, healthcare will be a basic human right. It won't be this like polarizing thing. It's like, okay, he has a problem. He needs to get fixed. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have $4 million to pay for the procedure. It needs to be done to save his life. And I don't know. I think it's just something that should be normalized.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that are tied into our jobs that shouldn't be tied into our jobs.
Yeah.
It's just another way for them, capitalism, whatever, to keep us working. You have to work. You have to make us money if you want to be taken care of. If you're not going to work, we're not going to take care of you. You're not a human. You're a useless pawn at this point. You're not even a pawn. You're just wasting time and space because you're not working. You're not benefiting the higher up people, so they have no reason to take care of you.
And in the coming years, I think robots are going to be taking over a lot of jobs. So what is everybody going to be doing for work? All those people who don't have an education, who don't have any creative or special skills to offer or trades, are going to be really struggling, I think. Those McDonald's jobs that I had as a kid are going to be replaced by a burger flipping robot and a computer who will take your order. So maybe, yes, there would be a robot technician now. There would be new jobs that are going to be created that we haven't even thought of. But a lot of the entry-level jobs are already going away. So there might be some sort of universal basic income, which I'm kind of for. Like, that sounds like a good idea. Give people maybe not food stamps to buy candy. Give them like a banana stamp. Give them
something to buy nutritious food.
For nutritious food and healthy things, and like maybe a Pilates class or whatever it is. Like, I don't know.
Stop making the healthy things so expensive.
Yeah. Well, like you can eat cheaply and healthily. Like, you can buy a dozen eggs for less than $1, and you can eat for quite a while on that. Or you can go to the bar and spend $35 on one meal. It's about choices.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I mean,
trust me, I understand. I'm a cheap, healthy person. Like, I go through 18 eggs a week.
Oh, that's great. I mean, people always say, well, what about the cholesterol? But I don't really worry about that. I don't think that's an issue. I mean, it's everything you need to make an entire animal.
Yeah, and a lot of people have trouble identifying, yes, there's cholesterol, but it's not the same cholesterol as you're getting from a cheeseburger or your Cheetos. It's different. Like, it's a healthy cholesterol, just like healthy fats in avocados versus unhealthy fats in a candy bar or whatever.
I mean, I don't really eat Cheetos too often, but I do eat those Doritos. Those Doritos, cilantro, I think it is, or whatever, the spicy one. Oh my God.
Those are good.
But my body hates them. They are not
Yeah.
good for my body. I get an upset stomach for like the next 2 days if I eat a whole bag of those. You should never eat a whole bag of anything. But
I have self-control issues, but
yeah,
I'm very particular about what I buy because I know there's certain things that I'll buy and I'll just eat it all.
yeah,
Like in one sitting, it doesn't matter. Like I don't buy if I buy chips, you're buying these, you know what you're getting into. Don't be mad when it's gone in a day and a half.
yep.
You can't feel bad about yourself because you know what this is.
Just the serving sizes that they recommend are ridiculous to me. I don't understand how. That's not a fun size. That's a boring size. I want the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like calm down, guys. Just calm down. Have you even looked at the calories or whatever in the fun size though? It's like, so for me, it's finding alternatives of things I like that have lower calories, but still contribute to my dietary needs or wants.
Yeah, one of the things I changed my diet many years ago. I changed it in high school when I was trying to get my lungs better time frame. I was just trying out for hockey and trying to get fitter and faster and stronger. I was getting a lot of migraines and eating crappy foods. I found that a lot of nitrates and nitrites were the cause of my migraines. I was getting like one a month pretty consistently. I cut that out. I cut out pop and pretty much stopped my migraines in tracks. I think the only times I've had migraines in the last couple of years was because I ate the wrong thing. Specifically, beef jerky is a really bad one. It's really high in nitrates. Some of them don't have it, which is great, but typically, I think the last one I was at the racetrack and I didn't have a ton of food because everything's perishable. Beef jerky is great because you can just take it on the go, but you don't realize all the things that are in it. And at the racetrack is not the place where you want to have a migraine with all the hot temperature and smell of race gas, and now you got all the loud sounds of all the bikes going by. It was like a nightmare.
No, that's way too much.
Oh yeah, just having those terrible of headaches made me want to change my diet. But some people never have those headaches. They just keep doing it.
They probably have other things they don't realize.
They're just
like, oh, my joints and everything hurts when I wake up, and it's like, it's probably like an inflammatory reaction to something that you're eating, but you don't care enough to want to figure it out. I guess you just like feeling bad. That's cool.
Yeah, people say, oh, we didn't have gluten allergies 50 years ago. Like,
you
probably did, but you just didn't know about it.
You called it something else.
Yeah.
Just like autism has always been they're like, oh, autism wasn't a thing. It's like, yeah, it was a thing. That's the kid that you guys he's a little different. Like, no, that was probably the autistic kid.
Yeah.
Come on. He is different, but it's still autism, no matter how you want to define it.
Yeah. And it's
I do gluten-free and low carb too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just such a spectrum of people out there. You never know what's going on.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's like all these mental health conditions and stuff. Like, no, you guys are weak. We weren't like that. No, you were like that. You just didn't want to pay attention. You didn't want it to be real. That's why you weren't like that. But it was still there. Don't.
For sure. So is there anything else on your mind you want to talk about today?
How did you get into all this? All your racing and stuff? Did you just grow up with it?
No, I didn't grow up with it at all. I mean, my dad had a scooter. He had a 250cc People 250 was the name of it. It's a big scooter. I mean, it went highway speeds, didn't shift, so it's easy to ride. I was always interested in extreme sports. I love seeing it on TV. I just never thought in a million years I'd be able to buy one or ride one or get into the sport. I didn't know anybody who rode. I didn't have any friends who were into motorcycles. It just wasn't a thing. There's no trails. There's no racetracks around me. But my uncle was really into sports cars and racing, and he would always fly my dad to Daytona and to go watch the races. So my dad was sort of into motorsports. My dad was in motors. He worked for many years, and he worked for Visteon, which is like a supplier. He did climate control. He made the climate control in cars. He designed them and and that's what got put into many of the vehicles. And he's always like, "Oh, I just bought a car." So always around cars and liking cars, going to auto shows and things, but never, he was never involved, or my family was never really involved in racing. So I wanted to ride. I worked at McDonald's and I saved up all my money, and my first vehicle I bought was a motorcycle. Got a 08 250 Ninja. I paid for it in cash with my own money as a 16-year-old.
Nice.
So, I was always wanting to ride. I was riding before I had my license to ride on the street, type of thing, running around the neighborhoods, just exploring. And I progressed. I finally found a group of people to ride with. And once I got my motorcycle and started riding with them, they all had 600s, and I had a 250cc. So they had much bigger bikes than I did, way faster. And I could barely keep up with them, to be honest. Because we go to like bike nights. We go to bike nights in Royal Oak quite often, or we go down to Toledo, and we'd be pretty much racing the entire way there, going like 100 miles an hour or more. Just being hooligans and having fun, being young kids. And then quickly I got arrested for speeding from being a hooligan. I think it was only a few months I had my 600. It was not that long. It was definitely less than a year, and I was quickly arrested. And and I decided I couldn't do that anymore. But I loved riding. I loved being on my bike. It's just so free. It's like going out on your bicycle and just exploring. But now you have a real engine, and it's a lot of power. It's like you got a rocket that's as good as a Lamborghini, but it only costs you $6,000. It's fantastic. So I was like, well, how do I keep doing this and not get arrested anymore? I'm not going to from the police. That's a bad plan. You can't outrun a radio too often. So I was like, well, let me look into going to the racetrack. I don't know how to do that. So I got on the message boards, got on the forums, looked at STT forum was a great place for me. Sport Bike Track Time is the organization I went with, and they're in the Midwest. They do a lot of racetracks on the East Coast, north and south. Anywhere from Michigan down to Florida, I think. And I did a whole season of days in 2011. So the year after I got arrested, I did a full season. Did about, I think, maybe 6 full weekends. So maybe 12 days on the track. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that was a pretty full season for me. Starting, halfway into the year. And, you start out in novice, beginner, everybody starts there, and you progress to intermediate, you progress to advanced, and by the end of the season I was passing racers who had been racing for a couple of years. So I'm like, well, why don't I just try this whole racing thing, because now I knew about the tracks, I knew where they were, I knew how to get there. I already bought my trailer. I made my bike from a street bike into a track only bike, dedicated track bike, and started really getting into it and liking it. And the next year I did a full season of racing, and I won 3 championships my first year. So I'm like, oh, wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cool. Let me keep doing this. And I was on a 600 racing in 6 different classes. So you can race in higher classes, but you can't race down. So I raced in both 600s, super stock and super bike, also both 750s, higher class, and also both 1000cc classes. So sometimes these bikes had 60 horsepower more than I did. And I was able to win the stock championship on a 600, which is
That's awesome.
Pretty incredible. Not many people can say that. But so the next year, I got bumped up from a novice to an expert, racing expert for a couple of years. Eventually got my pro license. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to use my pro license the way I wanted to. Kind of ran out of money. Although I had 20 sponsors and all that, it really wasn't enough. Most sponsors they pay you with free products or discounts or services and things like that. Very few, unless you're on TV all the time, are writing you $10,000 check, whatever. So it's mostly pay to play out of your own pocket, and there's no purse at the amateur level. So even though you're racing at an expert level, it's still like you're not really making a ton of money doing it, or any. So it's just a really big struggle to get your stuff paid for. So I also had a really bad crash in 2015. Kind of took me out financially.
Mhm.
I crashed into a guardrail. Unfortunately, there was no air fence in front of the guardrail, and so I broke I don't know 7 bones or something like that, and I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. But thankfully, I survived, and I've healed everything. I'm ready to get back into it. And so in the
Mhm.
meantime, since then, I've been racing mountain bikes and go-karts. I won championships in both of those.
Nice.
Been doing foot races to stay fit, and um, I didn't tough mudders. I've done I think 4 or 5 tough mudders, and done the triathlon indoors, and just trying to stay into the sport and be into it. And but my real goal, like I said, is to sell enough through my business now that I can get back into pro racing and you know get back into motorsports and riding a motorcycle.
Yeah, that's awesome. Look at you go.
So yeah, and last year I started doing supermoto, so riding bikes with slick tires on a mix of pavement and dirt with jumps.
Mhm.
It's kind of only 15-20% dirt maybe, mostly pavement, but that's a whole new ball of wax for me. I'm not used to that type of riding environment, and so
Mhm.
I just think anytime you can be in the sport learning a different discipline, whether it's karting or cars, it's great. Last year was the first year I did my first car track day. So I took out a car to a did a full 2 days of just driving and learning a new vehicle. So I think it's awesome, whether it's your exact sport, motorcycle racing, or if it's cars or karts, it all helps. I mean, it's all just learning different knowledge, and it's very helpful.
Yeah, it all translates into your skill set at some point.
Yeah, it's like doing CrossFit or doing a different exercise versus Olympic lifting. You know, it's all related but similar.
Yeah, that makes sense. Totally makes sense.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I was supposed to do some riding Sunday, but it got canceled.
Oh, that sucks.
I'm gonna do mini moto, so it's basically just like supermoto, but mini bikes. So you're thinking these are actually children's bikes that you've probably seen around the pits.
Mhm.
As like little travel from here to there, go and get your tires changed or whatever. But we're gonna use them for racing and riding and doing track days. And so there's a Great Lakes Supermoto puts on track days and racing events near my house in Michigan, Metro Detroit area. I go out to Full Throttle Adrenaline Park in Sterling Heights in my city. I used to be
Mhm.
Kart Park. They just changed the name of it, got bought out. But they take them out there, and they got timing and scoring. It's indoors, so we can do it all year round, mostly in the winter time because we're outside and, you know, more in the summer. But
Yeah.
they have timing and scoring, so you get your lap times. You can see how you're improving throughout the day. But actually, they just canceled it, like I mentioned, because they had so many people show up that their CO2 alarms were going off because they didn't have the good enough ventilation. I mean, they've been doing this for a couple of years now, but it's
Mhm.
grown to a point where there's 60 people who show up or more. And now, before, like a free for all, they just go out there, have fun. But now there's like novice, intermediate, advanced because there's so many people who show up. So
Mhm.
they had the I think they had the fire department come out. They were called because they had an alarm, you know, go off. Um, so they're actually in the process of um, making their ventilation better so they can resume doing it. But I've already paid to rent the bike and for the track time, so I'm ready to get going.
That's awesome. Hopefully you get out there and get it done.
So it's pretty difficult too because you're on a bike built for a child, very small,
Mhm.
but and you're maybe going 40 miles an hour. It's not too fast, so it's low risk, but you're still in your race gear, you know, still in the
Mhm.
full suit and everything, so you don't get hurt even if you fall. Um, but you're on a polished concrete surface now with slick tires, so it's not like there's a lot of grip. It's not asphalt.
No.
You're inside of you're in a warehouse. This is not a purpose-built facility, which is why their ventilation isn't up to par yet. But it's I went there once and I saw it happen. I haven't done it yet, but I saw it happen, and must have saw 12 people fall over. But I mean, they're going 12 miles an hour, so in the middle of the corner. You're not going that fast. I didn't get to see a single person get hurt. They all just like laugh about it and pick your bike up, and hopefully somebody behind us.
Keep the domino effect going.
Yeah, and then they have like legit photographers who are also riders who in their spare time to take pictures between sessions and stuff like that. So they have like professional level photographers come in there, and you get your photos from the event, so you can see like your body position or crash photos, how you did or how silly you look.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So yeah, can't wait to start doing that some more, and leaving Friday. Like I said, I'm excited to get out there.
Oh, for sure. Good luck. Have fun.
So where can people find you online? Where are you out there?
I'm on TikTok and Instagram. I think both of those are at Meag's the Rhino.
Okay. And we already got about an hour and a half. You want to talk a little bit more, or do you want to wrap it up?
I got to bounce. I got to go walk some dogs and then get to the horses and then the gym. That's my afternoon from 1:30 on.
Very good. Well,
Cool.
I'll get this edited and posted real quick, and make sure we tag anybody we talked about.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Have a good one.
Yeah. You too.